Yo,
What's up?
what's up? That was a long podcast we had last week.
That was fun though. I hope that people
Was.
actually listen to it. I mean, it's total nonsense, but it's fun going through the experience of, trying to put one game over another, right?
Putting people to sleep.
Oh, but it's if I think that if you've played most of those games, then it's interesting, because I think we gave decent reasoning for why something was better than another, or why we preferred one game over another. So I don't know. I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun too. Like I think it was entertaining. The randomness was something else.
So frustrating. Going over that list again.
RNG.
So frustrating.
Wow. I don't know.
I think my biggest disappointment was that um Taika no Tatsujin was as high as it was because I think originally we were like, oh, this thing doesn't even belong in this list.
It got its breaks right in there. Like there's like arguments about how much that game should even be in there, considering it's another one of those sort of games, right?
Yep.
But I don't know, like that's part of those RNG things and that other podcast that we did last year, right? I mean
Yep.
the,
Zelda got
the
screwed last year.
yeah, I mean we didn't even have a losers bracket last year, so you couldn't come all the way back, right?
Hmm.
So I mean games had their chances and stuff.
Yep.
I blame Jackie. At the
Sure.
end of it.
It's a shame that, and this is kind of segue into what I played this week, but it's a shame that I didn't play Into the Breach before we did that show.
Really?
Well, it's quite good.
Yeah.
I don't think that you guys, maybe I just checked out and I wasn't really paying attention,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like you guys gave it a very good description of like what it is. Maybe you did and I just kind of didn't get it. I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe if you had said, like, if I were to describe it to somebody, I'd say it's like Advance Wars, only a puzzle game.
Okay.
And would you say that that kind of describes the game okay?
I think Advance Wars has a lot more closer to Command and Conquer, and
Okay.
that your units don't really carry over like any stats from map to map. But I think I get what you mean by like the punchiness of it. Like it feels a lot smaller rather than like Final
Yeah.
Fantasy Tactics, which had like feels like you're battling a lot more on the screen.
I dig it. I think it's a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah.
I found I started playing on normal and I beat the first island okay, and then I
Mm-hmm.
could make it to the end of the second island, and then I actually beat the second island.
That's
Uh,
pretty good on your first try.
no, 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 not on my first try. This is
Okay.
like pounding at it for like a day and a bit. Like I beat the first two islands, and I started the final mission, and I couldn't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept going back and forth. I'm like, man, like I'm struggling to do this stuff. Like it's a difficult game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I dropped it down to easy,
Mm-hmm.
and I had so much more fun with it. Like, do you play on easy or normal or hard?
I've been banging my head against normal still.
I found when I dropped it to easy,
Uh-huh.
I felt a little guilty at the beginning because I'm like, this is not how I'm supposed to play this. It's not how
Yeah, whatever.
I
Whatever.
sure, but I found like I'm enjoying this, but I feel like I want to see more of it. And so I
Yeah.
put it on easy. Like I just, not that it's a cakewalk, but it's much easier.
Yeah.
And so then I started unlocking other squads and like trying it, and it
Yep.
so
Yep. Yep.
the game turned more, it turned less as trying to beat it and trying to progress,
Yep.
and it turned into try to do all these challenges, like try to get
Yep.
all the achievements in this. And I had
Yep.
way more fun doing that than I did like banging my head against the wall.
Yep.
And so still I'm working through it. I got a ton of stuff going. Like it's really, really fun. And I find that I will probably build up back to normal once,
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot in this game. There's a lot to understand about the game, and there's a lot to kind
Yeah.
of get about it.
Yeah.
Between islands, you can buy different weapons and different whatever.
Yep.
And I found that purchasing weapons is more or less useless.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of extra because you have to power them with those modules or
The
whatever.
cores. Yeah.
And so I find that those cores take away from other things, and I'm not using them as much as I should anyways. And so what I ended up doing is if it's on sale for one
Uh-huh.
reputation instead of the two,
Uh-huh.
and it's passive,
Uh-huh.
then I'll usually buy it.
Okay. Yep.
And otherwise it's just dropping cores in like my main weapons and like move and more HP and stuff.
Okay. Because then you're focusing everything into certain attacks and everything.
Like
And
this is the way I use this squad, right? And so
mhm.
instead of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, let's just make sure that you power through that hole with like a I lost my analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Instead of trying to like force my squad to be something that they're not really, just
Yeah.
really, embrace what each one does special, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of
But
the ones,
then when a power up like heal one heals all one that's like one of the ones that you really want to get.
it is, but at the same time, like I struggle because that means that it's one enemy I'm not attacking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So there's a
Yep.
real balance between that. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I saw a passive just on my last playthrough that I finished like half hour ago, where when you give the killing blow on an enemy, then you're healed for like 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's so powerful. So something like
Well,
that,
for you, especially since you're focusing, that means that if you're focusing all your cores on one attack, that means you're leveling up how powerful that attack is.
yeah,
So,
man, I'm getting like one hit kills like left and right. It's great.
wow.
So it's fun, and I mean, I get compared to when I first started playing, I understand the idea of not necessarily killing everything. I know it goes against what I just said, but
Yeah.
pulling somebody out of the way so he doesn't break a city and making
Yeah.
sure that things are kind of in the right spot. So it's super interesting. I mean, I abuse the redo.
Yeah.
When you hit minus and it lets you redo a turn.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that until like 3 or 4 days into playing the game, and now it's just like full on abuse. And not in a negative way, like it's game mechanic, right?
Yeah. It's a game mechanic, and it's super necessary and normal. Like,
Yeah.
there's even some pilots. I think one pilot's ability that you
Lets you
unlock
do
will
it
give you
twice.
a second one.
Yeah.
So,
And so that those normal playthroughs that I was doing was not knowing that I could undo turns.
Jesus Christ.
I think if I went back to it, I'd do a lot better than I did the first few times I played.
Oh yeah, sure. And you also have new squads now, so like you might find something easier to use.
Yeah. Do you know which one I have the most fun playing? I don't know if it's the most effective, but the most fun playing is the one that
Electric
makes
whip?
is that the one with the smoke?
No. Smoke's the one that everybody else likes. The one with the plane that
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fun. It's funny because the first time I tried them, there's like a rocket launcher that
Yeah.
shoots at range, but it leaves a smoke cloud behind it.
Yeah.
And the first time I played, I'm like, this thing's useless. Like, who cares if there's smoke behind it? And I'm just like firing rockets into missile ranges just so I can put smoke on somebody.
Yep.
It's super fun. I thought what comes with the electric whip guy, because he's cool, but it's the frustrating part about him is like he kills everybody.
Yeah. And so you have to be careful about where you position your guys. It's really important. So,
However, when you get the weapon mod that lets it go through buildings with no
Yeah.
damage,
yeah.
what the hell?
And then you can, if you position your one of your, I think the tank guy, if you power him up enough, he can take at least one hit from the whip. So sometimes you'll position him to chain
Yep.
through like buildings from
Yep.
one set to another.
I think I was doing it with not with the tank or whatever, but there's a pilot that has like a one shield.
Yeah.
Like if he takes less than 2 damage, then he takes no damage.
Yeah.
And so I was lining him up to build the chains. I think I got the achievements for a 10 chain, and I think I got like a 12 or 13. Like the entire
It
board
feels so
dies.
satisfying.
That's
man.
good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, Into the Breach is something that I would probably like. I haven't looked at the tournament to see where it would have changed or if it would have changed, but I enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm glad.
So thanks again for the recommendation. Like 2 games that I really, really enjoyed this year. I would not have played if it weren't for your recommendation, Into the Breach and Dead Cells.
Well, they were my top, again, my top 3s for this year. So I'm glad you enjoyed them. They're the ones that I can't believe, like, we talk about the indie games all the time and stuff, but those are like AAA indie games. They're like the polished ones, right?
Yep. Yeah, they both feel really, really good.
Yeah. It's like that. It was those two and Hollow Knight on Switch were like the craziest like ones that you could get last year, and they're all available on Switch actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's been the last week's been kind of weird with the New Year's, and then like the getting back into things and getting back into work. It's like I don't know, like I don't know if you're in this same place that I am right now, but like I was dreading going back to work. I just did not want to go back.
Yeah. Is that everybody? I hope it's everybody. I totally feel
I think it's I don't know. Like I haven't felt this bad about going back to work. Like I really didn't want to go. Like I hate like actively hated was trying to figure out ways. Like I felt my body dreading it. Like every single fiber of it. It's more than just like oh I don't want to go back to work sort of thing, and then like going back. But
Do you know
like,
what's funny? I was fine until I got there. Actually, really, I was feeling pretty good. I really struggle, or one thing that I'm struggling with a lot this year, and I don't know whether it's I have changed or whether uh, other factors have changed.
mm-hmm.
But I really struggle with the amount of like negativity, the lack of excitement. Like I'm doing all these really, really cool things, and there's not really any excuse not to be into what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't force you to be excited about things.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's something that I'm really, really struggling with. I feel like compared to the start of my career,
Yeah.
I used to, and again, I don't know whether this is a change in me or in kids, but I find that I used to be teaching to I used to be teaching them how to get better at something. So do this, I'll take a look at it. Here's the problem. Let's work at it and you'll get better, right? And I
Yeah.
think that everybody thinks that that's kind of how school is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm fighting just to get them to do anything. And I'm not sure why
See,
that is.
I always find teaching is one of the hardest things to do as a life career. I find at least this has always been my thinking about it. Like I always feel like maybe after 5-10 years, the teacher should take a year off and actually be able to like refresh themselves in some way. You know, like I just don't. I know I've heard of teachers having that same fire and passion for many years down the line, right? But I just I can't imagine what it's like for some people who aren't those super teachers that are just like or at least don't have the mentality of what I would consider one of those teachers, you know, in that particular way. And I'm not saying that that's a negative thing, like, but
Don't
I
you
think
think?
sometimes you need a refreshing, like I don't know, like a sabbatical or something to get your mind off of things, to think about new ways to get yourself excited again about that kind of thing, you
But
know.
don't you think? Well, no, and it's not so much about curriculum. I'm excited about curriculum. I'm excited about teaching. I'm excited about all this stuff. But I feel like things have changed in the past few years. It's been a progressive slide, and I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off base. It's not true, and I don't know, man.
Well, you're
So
in a tough position right now. The government isn't one that is friendly to your
no, but
position.
it's not even that. You know what I think? Like, and that's why I say those are all adult problems. I'm not talking about adult issues. I think the problem that I'm really having is like and I'm gonna sound like an old man for saying this, but Netflix and cell phones, man. Like, no joke. Like, what do you do when the only thing you care about is just when I can use my phone next time?
Hmm.
I don't know how much I can talk about. I can probably just say this, but do you know that the grade 8 trip this year was planned and they were going to go to Kingston, they're going to go to Queens and like, have the university experience and stay in residence and do all this cool stuff and do like, that like
See the prison, haha.
like like that tree climbing, like high rope stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it sounded really awesome, really, really cool trip.
yeah.
the biggest concern that kids had, the question that you heard over and over again while people were talking about the trip was, uh, can we use our cell phones? And they were like, well, during the day, no, you gotta leave them in your room. Like, enjoy the time out. Like, this is a trip. You're supposed to spend with your friends and this kind of thing. And nobody wanted to go, so they canceled the trip.
I don't understand. Like, if you're like, I don't know if you had these trips, but I remember having like a trip up north to. Well, you lived in up north, so I don't know what it's like, but we would go to like a YMCA camp, right, in the woods or something like that,
Mhm.
and we would have an overnight trip for 2-3 days, and it was a time when nobody had cell phones, and you just like enjoyed your friends' company. You had like the camp experience in the middle of fall or whatever, and like you do group activities and things like that, and like come home after like 3 days. Like it was an overnight trip basically.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why even the cell phone's necessary. Like why aren't the parents just like, yeah, no cell phone? Like
But I
go
think
ahead and have no cell phone there.
but I think that that's a problem though, man. Like, I think that's the struggle is that just there's no such thing as no cell phone.
Hmm.
It's
Why
we
not? Like that's
it's
the part I don't
weird.
understand.
I agree. This is the part where I, like, check out and not talk about it anymore so I don't incriminate myself.
That's a good idea.
It's crazy though. I don't know. So
Well,
I think it's more that I'm struggling with. Like,
sure.
if you're not interested in doing your work, you're not interested in getting better, you're not interested, and maybe it's just, am I expecting too much now that I've seen like, and maybe my kid will change, but my kid loves school. Like, my kid loves learning and loves reading and loves trying to figure this stuff out. And I don't understand being so passive to everything.
Hmm.
Like, I'm fine if you don't like it. I wanna make this clear. Like, they're, grade sevens, grade eights. They're uh
But you want them to be passionate about something at least.
like anything. And like,
Yeah.
I'll talk to them and say, like, I can't make you enjoy every subject. And I don't expect you to enjoy every subject. But here are different ways that you can, at least make it better for yourself. I'm giving you the option to do this, you can do this. And instead it's, I'm not gonna do any of it. What? Okay. Like, I can't make this more fun for you. And so the issue I'm having, I guess, is if I can't make it more fun, then
What's
what
the
happens?
alternative?
Yeah, what happens later? Like, there's a bunch of kids that want to go to Westmount. Is like it's like open schedule. Like, as long as you get your work done, then come and go as you please, and the teachers there just to give you support if you need it. This kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of kids wanna go there. I can tell you, I don't think there's a ton of kids going to that school this year just because, like, given to their devices here, uh, figuratively and, literally,
Literally.
they
Yeah.
they, I can't see them finding success. I don't know,
Hmm.
this is a video game podcast. Welcome to Link Cable Podcast.
Well, I don't know. Like I think that goes towards a little bit of where kids are going to be engaged in the next few years. Like we've always like, and to tie this back into games, like the way I think about it is like the worry about games is whether the younger generation are going to pick up where we have been going, which is like still consoles, still like PC gaming and
No,
stuff,
man,
or
cell phone games only.
exactly. Is it cell phone only? And then if it's cell phone only, then that means it's all bite-sized experiences that have short attention spans and things like that. Like
Yep.
I like a cell phone game as much as the rest of anybody else does, but I don't. It's not. It's a different kind of experience. It's the experience that I want on the subway ride over because I know that's going to be like a short time and I'm going to be like done after a little bit, right?
Yep.
Like those are that's the kind of experience I'm looking for there if I'm going to be playing a game. But like at home when I have the time, when I have something to relax with, I'd rather like stretch out and play something that has a little bit more meat to it.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like to bring it all back to that, like I how will kids get excited about those things? Maybe they won't. Maybe maybe they will by the time they're in their 20s and have a little bit more time on their hands and don't want to see everything on a tiny screen. I don't know. Maybe this is
But
the death of certain kinds of
do
entertainment,
people
right?
think that way now though? Like for me, I can't watch anything on a small screen. I can't watch a movie on my laptop, right?
Sure.
um but I don't think that it matters, right? If you think about, there's a lot of kids that'll watch some movie online or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they have no problem just watching some like flash streaming thing, like in terrible quality. Just watch on their laptop or on their phone or something like this. I couldn't. There's no
Well, it's
way.
like Instagram and things like that are things where they can have a short 5 second video or 2 minute video. They're not even YouTube clips, right? Like it's even less than that. So like that's what they are being bombarded with every single day right now, rather than like something more long form. Even though we might consider half an hour of your time is not really long form, you know.
Mhm.
But for that generation, I think that's what they're interested in right now, but they do get interested in longer shows. They do get interested in movies. They're still going to movies and things like that.
Well, and there's still a ton of kids that are like super into YouTube channels and YouTubers and that too, right? And that
Yeah.
requires some follow. But
Yeah.
again, like if you think about like super quick cuts and back and forth all over the place, and I don't know, and I'm sure that this is a large part of this conversation is old man yells at cloud, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I the irony is not lost on me, but I
Sure.
just I don't know.
It's something. But like what I hope is like, for example, a compelling experience that's shorter but still punchy and still worth your time, like Beat Saber is something that I would hope more kids would be into. You know, like it doesn't take like a lot of time and effort to go ahead and play something like that, but I would hope that something like that would have more universal appeal to a lot of
But
people. You know?
what's the price of admission for Beat Saber? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. If you're not really into consoles or your thing is more cell phone based, you're not gonna have a PS4, B PSVR to go with a PS4. Like I know as a kid, I couldn't afford that shit.
Hmm.
There's no way I would have this as a child.
Hmm. But come on, also as a kid now, you do have like I was doing the calculation the other day, right? An average kid now has what, a cell phone, which is $1,000. Like if they have an iPhone X, is 1,500. Okay, they have a headphone, which is like a some wireless whatever. It's like anywhere between 150 to $200. If it's Beats, it's $300. Then you have a laptop or iPad that they're carrying around, which is another $1,000, right? So you got a kid walking around with about $3,000 worth of stuff,
Which is bananas to me.
which is bananas to you. But like, this is the difference, right? Like, it was crazy just for any one of us to have like a CD player, a CD Walkman. Like,
I never had a Walkman either.
I know, that's what I mean. Like,
Well,
even
how
that was like crazy for you to be walking around with $100 piece of equipment and like $50 headphones or whatever.
do you see yourself buying this stuff for your kid?
Like eventually, like it'll be something that we share because I'll have an interest in it, I believe. But yeah, I can see it happening.
But his that he can like bring to school and bring around and stuff.
Well, he will. No, I don't know. Like I know how the technology is. Like I want him to be comfortable with the technology, but in the right ways.
That's
And
I struggle with that so often with my kid. Just I want her to be comfortable with technology. I don't want her to be, some Luddite that can't use it. At the same time, uh, she very rarely ever touches this stuff now, and that's
yeah,
intentional. But she also doesn't really care that much about it. Like we've given her opportunities to kind of explore and do her thing, and she would rather not. Like she's got other things she's worrying about, right?
well, that's good. Like I think as a boy, my son's gonna have environmental factors that will pull him into things, right? Like
Yeah.
especially social gaming and stuff. I don't know if it's the same for girls unless they hang around boys a lot.
And to be clear, that's not saying that girls don't play video games.
Yeah.
Actually, she was over at a friend's house after school today, and when I went to pick her up, she took a second to come downstairs because she had to finish her match in Smash Brothers. Like, her and her friend were playing Smash upstairs. I was like, that's pretty cool, pretty
Oh,
interesting,
that's pretty cool.
right? It's something. So I totally get what you're saying, though. I think that it's a lot more prevalent in, I don't know how many girls play Fortnite.
Yep.
And I think that, like you say, in a social thing, there's a ton of kids that play Fortnite. I don't know how many of them are female.
Yeah.
And maybe
I
it's a huge population. I don't know, right?
Yeah. It may just be a circle, but like that'll be a little bit more time, and that circle will change as my son grows up. Who knows? But the thing that I would always say is, he can enjoy playing the games and he can learn a lot of stuff from that, like the social aspects and things. But he can't let that consume his life, because if a person is just playing the games all the time, he will never make a game properly. And if you wanna actually be somebody who's interested and important and that kind of thing, then you need to understand life to be able to do that kind of thing, right? So you still need those experiences of going out, seeing different things, seeing different people, understanding different people. That's the only way that you can really do well in technology, I believe. That's my core fundamental philosophy as far as technology is concerned. Like, too many people in that field only understand technology and don't understand people enough. And so, like, I don't think my brother's like that, or like other people that I know that are in those kinds of that I know of. Like, there's a wide variety of people that are in that field, but I also know that a lot of people have a mentality of like, there's only iPhones, I have to buy the newest iPhone all the time sort of mentality. Like, that sort of generation is one kind of person or one type of people. I don't think that that's true across, but people seem to lose the fact that that's not the case. Like, a lot of people are like, well, everybody has an iPhone here in Silicon Valley, so everybody must have an iPhone everywhere around the world, and that's just not the case, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, I think there's a danger to that mentality of just associating within your circles and not casting a wide enough net, and that's what I'm hoping to help my son through, is not just having one kind of friend and one kind of person, right? So we'll see. There's different ways of getting through that if that situation arises.
That seems to be the thing, like, that is prevalent to every conversation I have about the kid is, well, we'll see. Like, I don't know if any of this is working. I don't know if anything I do has an effect. Like, well, we'll try this and see what happens.
I don't know. Like, I think about our parents all the time about these kinds of things, and they must have thought to themselves, well, we must give them whatever core values we feel that they should have and correct them as we want to, and later on, if something comes up, we'll take care of that too, you know.
Do you think most parents think like that?
Well, I know, like, for myself, I went through a phase of having allowance, then not having allowance, then having allowance again. So I know, like, they must have not been sure about how to handle certain things.
Yeah, that's fair. That's cool.
I don't think they've ever talked to me about it, but
I'm not fully convinced that my parents thought about it. I don't know. Maybe they did. Who knows?
Well, once again, you turned into a fine gentleman. It's not all environmental.
Yeah,
I don't
man,
think.
because of video games.
So you have a core Japanese and Western set of values from video games.
Gross. Gross. Did you play any video games this week? I feel bad that we've talked for however long and we talked about Into the Breach.
Well, actually, I was trying to get us onto Beat Saber, but let me get back into that. So I picked up Beat Saber last week, just before the podcast for the end of the year, because I wanted to on your recommendation and Tim's when he came over and played it at your house, and it is yeah, it's a great game.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
did you find it to be better than you expected?
yeah,
I
I
did.
would
Me
say
too.
the kinetic aspect of slicing things really um it's different than any of the other VR like music games that I played.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it Audio Shields the other major one where you basically block things with a shield and stuff? Uh, that's okay, but I mean, yeah, like having the cubes come at you and stuff. The only thing that and I don't know whether you feel the same way too. When they try to do combos and hide blocks behind other blocks, I find that's a little weird. Like I don't know, other than excuse me, memorizing it and such. I don't know how else you can get around that.
No, do you let the music take over your body, man? Like just let it happen. That's no, I'm
Let-
not. You think I'm joking? I'm totally not. Like it just I was struggling a little bit with it too, and I actually got frustrated when I saw like there's stuff behind it. How am I supposed to hit this, right?
yeah, yeah,
And so you just stop thinking and just feel. And no, but I'm not joking. Like the I don't know, note chart. I don't know what to
yeah,
call it.
yeah.
Is so well designed, and so it just naturally your hands do it if you just let it happen. It's kind of, do you remember in university playing Beat Mania, and you would see Tim or I every once in a while, like you'd get into that trance. We used to call it the trance, and like your eyes
Yep.
would glaze over it, and you just like your hands just do it. You're not thinking, it just happens.
Yep.
And the same thing here, only it's easier to get into that trance. Like it just once you feel it, it just comes out of your body, you know?
And I felt it a couple times. Like it seemed to pull me into certain movements, and I would just like get through a whole thing without knowing how I ever did it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
cool. I mean, it's pretty shady advice to say, no, man, just feel the music and let it let it come out. But that's essentially what it is. Like it just you play it and just let it happen.
So I got a couple more questions because, like, I have the Oculus version, right? Whether, sorry, the one through Steam actually. I didn't get it through the Oculus store, and you bought the PlayStation version, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, did you also have the update that gives you like the League of Legends sound that song from League of Legends, or is that only for the PC store one?
No, it's for PlayStation as well.
Okay, so
It's
they've
a
been
good
releasing
song.
that. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. They need more though. That's not
Yeah,
enough in there.
I agree. I agree. There's not
Um,
enough.
yeah, I'm thinking about modding mine to so I can start pulling some other songs, but yeah, I'm not sure yet.
I'm happy with it as it is, and I think the other issue that I always have, and this is me being dismissive of so many things, but I find that a lot of the times when you have like a modding community that is going to release songs and you know what I'm trying to say. I find that a lot of the time they're not very good. Like just
Yeah,
because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
yeah.
I'm very seldom interested in user generated levels, user generated whatever, because most of the time it's just not very good. And
Yeah,
I've heard
because
the
they
same.
think they have a way of doing it, but these guys have refined it over time. Like,
Yeah. It's
hmm,
and not to say that it's all bad, but I've heard from multiple sources that it's uh that
the
uh
note mapping isn't as fluid.
yeah, it's just not the same. It's just they're fine. They're not as good as the base game.
Hmm, okay.
And you know what? Maybe that's me justifying having the PlayStation one and not wanting to admit that I want the other, but I just that's what I have seen online many times.
Hmm, okay. So I know we were talking about it the other day about how to get like consistent 100s when slicing. Like according to their tutorial, like they say it's how close you are to slicing it down the middle,
Only a
and
small
then
amount.
okay, and so like what was your trick to doing it then to getting the maximum points?
Large arcs,
Large
large arcs
arcs.
with your arms. Like you got to swing.
Okay.
Like none of this like Jedi
Clicking.
picky stuff, right? Like you gotta
Okay.
swing your arms. Like
Okay.
I think if you have that giant lead up,
Yeah.
then you usually score much better. I think did I read that only 10 points of the because what's maximum 130 or something 120?
110, I thought it was.
Is it 110? So that
Yeah.
extra 10 is where the accuracy, the center point accuracy comes from,
Huh. Okay.
and the rest is
Arc.
just the swing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because like I'm getting a lot of A's and B's right now, not anything in S's. I haven't even tried Expert Plus. Everything's just Expert right now.
Oh, there's the other one. No, on PlayStation, there's no Expert Plus yet.
Oh, there is.
No, just
Uh,
Expert. That's something
okay.
they haven't pushed through yet. But I'm ready for
Okay.
it, dude. I finished all the songs on Expert except for one.
Yeah.
And that song I can beat if I drop the speed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I'm still not like consistent with Expert. Like Hard's the one that I'm like consistent with everything. But like, yeah. I don't want to touch Expert Plus. I don't
And don't you
like
feel
Expert's like I'm
don't you
dipping my
feel
toe in.
don't you feel that you really feel progression playing that game though?
Yeah.
Like I always feel like I'm getting better the more I play, and it's awful. But part of it is probably because it's such a limited song selection, and that you just learn the songs, right?
There's that, and
Part
also I think my stamina's gone better. Like my arms don't feel as sore now
rubbery.
after a week of this.
Yeah, it's
So I think
true.
that helps. Yeah. No, that's been good. The other thing, which is the dumbest thing that I bought, and is the thing that I've spent way too much time on, is House Flipper.
I saw you playing that. It looks fun.
Holy shit! Like this was on a lot of Game of the Year lists actually.
Really?
That's why I ended up picking it up. Yeah. So this game is house cleaning and house fixing the video game basically. So you buy a house, or sorry, first off you're like a handyman. You do chores like cleaning up houses, and people pay you money to do that, and then you get more money and then do bigger jobs, and then eventually you'll buy a house, fix that up, and then sell it, and all sorts of stuff. So it's like a first person uh, house cleaning and house fixing game. You install showers, you install toilets, you do it in this like it's a very simple kind of way of doing it all, but like you're kind of going through the motions. You're laying out bedrooms, you're tearing down walls, adding new extensions, all sorts of things like that. So it's pretty robust. You decorate like houses and stuff like that as well, and then you basically sell the houses for profit and just keep going like that. And I don't think there's like too big of a goal other than just keep on building up your money and buying up and building up new houses and such. But it's kind of a relaxing time waster game, and the only issue that I have is that I shouldn't be spending so much time cleaning up fake house and cleaning up my real house.
I understand that. Like anytime there's some kind of game that's like life sim, or I think about rearranging furniture, even in like something like Animal Crossing. I'm like, I should be doing this in real life.
It's terrible, man.
That's cool though. It sounds really fun. As soon as I saw you playing it, I had never heard of it, and when I saw you playing it, I was like, nah, just from the title, that sounds cool.
So yeah, there's that. Did you play anything else besides Into the Breach, or has it been pretty low key this week?
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played anything else. Just Into the Breach, a little bit of Beat Saber, and I don't think I've played anything else. Which tells you something about Into the Breach, I guess, right?
That's impressive, man.
I'm definitely gonna pick up. What's the other one you guys talked about? The card one.
Slay the Spire. Yeah.
Like after these two, and like dismissing the two of you for the entire year, I think it's not out for Switch yet. I think it comes out in spring.
Yeah.
And I'll wait for the Switch one, and then I'll pick it up for sure.
That one I think is going to be a harder sell for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like
it won't make
you
it
know,
up.
like I'll give it its props. I spent quite a bit of time on it, but like I'm not anywhere near the same kind of mindset that Tim is on
Hmm.
it. I do not think the world of that game the way he does. So I'm okay with that game, but I don't think it's the best thing of all time. So I don't know. You may enjoy it.
Maybe I'll wait till the fall until it's on
When
sale.
it's on sale.
Well, do you know? It's funny we talk about price. Do you know Deepest Dungeon, Darkest Dungeon, Deepest Dungeon,
Yeah, Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah.
I was all ready to buy it on Switch, and then I saw that $40 price tag and take a walk.
Yep.
Not interested. Sorry.
Yep.
So I mean, Into the Breach was on sale for like $10, $11. So I was like, hell yes.
$11. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah. Like I don't know. Like yeah, we didn't do maybe the game justice, but I didn't have any. I didn't know how else to describe it other than like it is a puzzle game more than a strategy game. It is manipulating the board in order to get like
it's
even
great.
right now I still don't know how to like describe it well enough. Like pushing monsters so that pushing the enemies so that they even are on top of other ones so that like when one comes up it kills the other. Like it's like all sorts of stupid things like
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's a lot of different things like that. Do you know one of the other passives that I got? We're gonna start talking about this game again. One of the other passives I got was it adds a point of damage to pushes and when they come out of the ground. And so instead of doing 1 damage, it does 2 damage, and I was wrecking everybody. It was really fun.
Jeez, man, it sounds like you're really into it.
Yeah, man, it's great. Well, I'll tell you, I don't have the Switch right beside me here, but I think I only have like 2 or 3 more achievements to do.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, like I've been tearing it up. The one I got right before we started talking tonight was the complete 3 islands without like do 3 perfect islands.
Perfect islands.
Yeah. Just finished that one.
Good.
I found something. There was something I read on a message board. I think longtime listeners will know that we're fans of the Yakuza series on this podcast. And one guy posted on a message board about how he just finished Yakuza 0 and he has all these problems with it. This game made no sense. I kept asking why would he do that, and so in any case, the first reply is so good, where he says the fact that you were asking why they did certain things, the fact that you said the combat wasn't good, and the fact that they repeated things and you're still moving on to Kiwami says everything. They got you. It's true. Don't you think that's 100% Yakuza? Like this game is shitty, and it pisses me off. And it's repetitive and it's frustrating. And you're totally right. Combat is not that good, but fuck if it's not compelling.
I don't know. To me, I don't think I feel that way 100%.
That it's not shit. The Yakuza games are total garbage.
I don't know. I've always enjoyed like not for the newer ones, but like previous ones, you could always like hold a weapon in your inventory, and then you could take it out, and then like when you had enough heat, you could use that weapon. Basically, I've always
do that in the new ones.
Can you still do that? Because I thought in 6 you can't hold any of the weapons in your inventory. You have to pick them up in order to use them in heat actions, right?
Maybe it's just 6 then. I don't remember, but I know in 4 and 5, yeah.
Yeah, no, 4 and 5, yes, but like and 0 and that stuff, but like in
so just 6.
Just 6, I guess. And maybe Kiwami and Kiwami 2. I have no idea whether you can hold the weapons in there, but yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, that was a whole thing for me. Like just having those battle animations ready.
I did use weapons in Yakuza.
Oh yeah, all the time. Always have a salt shaker just ready for when I had heat action.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
All right, I think we're tapped for this week.
Yeah.
Talk about our 2 games. 2 games that we've talked about like ad nauseum on the show before. So
But hey, man, some listeners have given us feedback that they prefer the non sequiturs than all the game talk all the time. So
Sure. All right. Tim was he had clinic tonight, so he had to jump out. But next week we'll see him back.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good week, everyone.